So good morning, everybody. And for those who are joining for the first time, my name is Thechla Mbunwe, and today I will be covering the second part of the billing and pricing topic. So I hope that we all are going to participate, because this second part is more of participation. I will expect you to read, and let's talk about the points we are going to discuss today. So, so today we are going to be covering the AWS support plan, what it is, and basically this is what is going to cover most of our topic today. And then we will talk about the AWS Marketplace, then we will do a general conclusion, and then we have some revisions. So what is the AWS support plan? When you hear of this, the first thing that should come into your mind is that AWS, as long as you are a client or a customer of AWS, you may or will require some support from AWS. So as long as you've registered, open an account, register with them, you will definitely need some support from them. And this is why the support plan has been designed to provide AWS clients with appropriate tools, the right accesses to expertise, so as to enable performance optimization, risk management, and cost control. So they are giving you the different appropriate tools that you can use to ensure that you're getting the best out of AWS. So, and this support plan, for every support plan that you choose, you are billed per month, and usually they have no long-term contracts. So we have five types of AWS support plans. The first one is the basic. The second one is the developer. The third is the business. The fourth is enterprise on RAM. And the fifth is enterprise. I must just let you know that every day AWS is upgrading its services, adding new ones. When we studied, there was no enterprise on RAM. So now they have a new plan. So we will all learn the differences between the different plans. So when do you use these different support plans? So when you use for the basic support, all AWS customers have the basic support, all of them. As long as you and me who have accounts on AWS, we use the basic support plan. So in the slides, we are going to explain what this basic support plan entail, what it covers. So you use the developer support plan when you're doing testing. And for the business, you use it when you're doing production workload. And what is production workload? When you have services that are running, for example, on your VPCs, and customers are actually accessing it. For example, you're hosting a website where customers are really going on it and buying and using, customers are interacting with the services that you're running on your VPC. So in this case, that's a business workload. So for the enterprise on RAM, this is when you deal with production and business critical workloads, while the enterprise, you are dealing with business and mission critical workloads. So take note that for the enterprise on RAM, you're dealing with production and business critical workloads. This is when you use it. And when it's the enterprise, you're using when you're dealing with business and mission critical workloads. So when you're looking at the basic plan, you want to know the different services that you can get from AWS. So the basic support plan, first and foremost, is free. And like I said, each and every one of us who has an account on AWS have these basic services that AWS offers. So on the basic plan, you have 24/7 access to AWS customer service and communities. So we can access AWS documentation. We can access AWS white papers. Somebody will be asking, what are white papers? White papers are documents or things that AWS content which they have written about their products. So they are the best people to write these content about their services. So and also you have access to the support forums, which are now being called the AWS reposts. So when you're using the basic plan, there is a service which we call the AWS Trusted Advisor. So we will not go in detail on the Trusted Advisor because it's a whole topic on its own. But what you need to know is that when you have the basic support plan, you have access to 7 core checks on the Trusted Advisor, and also the guidance to provision resources following AWS best practices so you can increase your performance and improve security. So AWS Trusted Advisors, for the basic plan, you have access to the 7 core checks. And these are checks that are done on clients' accounts. They provide recommendations that help our clients, AWS clients, follow AWS best practices. And they also check ways to better optimize the AWS infrastructure, and also to they ensure that the AWS infrastructure benefits from things like cost optimization, security, performance, service limits, and fault tolerance. So this will be covered in a topic on its own. So another thing that we all have access to, as if we're using the basic support plan, is the AWS Personal Health Dashboard. So it gives you with the health dashboard, it gives you a personalized view of the health of your AWS services and alerts when your resources are impacted. So when anything is happening to the resource in your account, you can get notification, or you can see this on your personal health dashboard on AWS. So one thing you should understand is that all these checks that you have in the basic support plan are automatically inherited by the next support plan, which is the developer. So everything that we have outlined in the basic support plan is inherited by the AWS developer support plan. Is it clear? Hello, are we listening? Is it clear?
Yeah, it's clear.
Yeah, I think it's okay.
Yeah, clear.
Okay, thank you. So with the AWS developer support plan, as you can see that it includes all the services that are being supported by the basic plan. And here the cost is about 29 euros or more per month. And this is recommended when you are doing testing. When you're testing, when you're testing a service, that's when you can use it. Then you have the access to the 7 core checks, and it also gives you one thing you should take into consideration is what the additional things that you have in the developer's plan. So you can see here that it has when you buy the developer's plan, you have everything that the basic plan offers, and also you have general support for your architectural guidance. And also when you have the developer plan, you can, during business hours, you can contact AWS Cloud Support Associates by email. You can raise unlimited cases, and that you have basically one contact. So knowing that if you have the developer plan, you can contact AWS during the working hours by email. You can raise unlimited cases, and also they have one primary contact. And for the case severity and response time, for general guidance, if you raise a query on general guidance, they have at least 24 hours to respond to your case. But when there is an issue where your system is impaired, they have 12 hours to respond to your case. Is it clear? Do you see the difference between the basic and the developer?
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, but later on we are going to actually look at a table that we all will read. We'll go through it line by line, and that will really explain to you what you will see the differences in the different plans. So when the next one is the AWS Business Support Plan. So this includes all the services that have been supported by the developer plan. And this one costs about $100 a month or even more. And this plan is, like I said, is recommended for production workload. You have access to the full set of trusted advisor checks. But you remember, like I said, the basic plan you had just for the 7 core checks, but in the other ones you have access to the full set of trusted advisor checks. So for architectural guidance and support, this is the plan. This plan they actually tailor it to the client's use case. But if you go back here, you will see that they just give here a general support in the developer one. They give you just a general support. But when it comes to the business one, they contextualize it to the client's use case. So when you have a business support plan, you have 24/7 access to the AWS support engineer by phone, by email, and by chat. And you can see here that here you have access via email, and you can raise unlimited cases. But when you go here, you see that you can contact them 24/7 via phone, email, and chat. So here the client also can raise unlimited cases. But one thing that you should take note is that they have unlimited contacts plus support for IAM. If you look behind here, you see that they have they have unlimited, they can raise unlimited cases, but they have one primary contact. Meanwhile, if you go to the business plan, they can create unlimited cases, but they have unlimited contact plus support for IAM. So this is the next one, which is the business, the enterprise on RAM support plan. And like I said, it would include all the services that are being supported by the business plan. And this costs about $5,500 per month or more. And it is recommended for production and business critical workload. And you have access to the full set of the trusted advisor checks. You can see that here for the architectural guidance and support, it offers a consultative review and guidance based on your application. Let's go back. The business will offer you, where is it? You see, this plan is contextualized to clients' use case. Meanwhile, here this plan offers consultative review and guidance based on your application. One thing you should understand is that we are not expecting you to master all of this today, but by the end of today, we are going to refer you to the table that should be like your own Bible. You will go over it 100 times to be able to master it, and make sure that you master it, because you will have at least 5 questions from the exams coming out from this table. So here for the enterprise on RAM, you will have access to a pool of technical account managers to provide proactive guidance and coordinate access to programs and AWS experts. So here you have a pool of technical account managers. But if you see that before, there was no access to technical account managers. And also here, there's an additional factor that you have the support of the concierge team. So, and you have here 24/7 access to AWS support engineer via phone, email, and chat. Here, clients have unlimited cases and unlimited contacts plus support for IAM. So there are also some other services where we will see them on the table. And on this table, I'll be expecting you all to read, to help me to read, because all of us will have to participate to see to read it and understand it and see the differences. So the last one, the 5th one, is the enterprise support plan. So this include, oh, sorry, I didn't change this. Sorry. This include it inherits all the services from the enterprise on RAM plan, and this one costs about $15,000 a month, and it is recommended for business and mission critical workload in AWS. So the enterprise on RAM was recommended for production and mission critical workload, while enterprise is for business or mission critical workloads. So they have in as much as they have all access to all the core checks for AWS, the Trusted Advisor, they have an additional AWS Trusted Advisor priority recommendation. So they have this priority, AWS Trusted Advisor priority. Here you have to prioritize recommendation curated by AWS account team. So you should know that the other ones don't have this AWS Trusted Advisor priority. Meanwhile, the enterprise support plan has it. You will see it on the table. It will be clearer when you look at the table. So here, there is, if you look at here, there is a pool. Here, there is a pool of technical account managers in the enterprise on RAM. But if you come here to the enterprise, there is a designated technical account manager. Okay, and in this, when you buy or you're using the enterprise support plan, you also have access to online self-paced labs. You have the concierge support team, access to the concierge support team, 247. You have access to the AWS support engineer by phone, email, and chat. And clients have can raise unlimited cases. They have unlimited contacts for and support for IAM. And there's also another new service that was added, is the access to the AWS incident detection and response. They have it for a fee. So as you see that the other ones don't have it. There are also many other services that you can get under the enterprise plan, which I could not outline in this slide, but you will see in the table. So now let's look at the table, knowing fully well that let's go through what the basic support plan talks about. I don't know who would like to read it for us, or who would like to do a summary. Hello?
Yes, we can get you.
Yes. Can somebody read? Let's all understand what is covered in the business support plan. Can someone read it for us so that we have this in mind before we are looking at the other services? Because all the other services have these basic services in their support plan.
Okay, I'll read it out. We say for the basic support plan, the basic support plan is a free service. The basic support plan, there is 24/7 access to AWS customer service and communities. AWS documentation, white papers, we have the access to documentation, white papers, and support forums. And with the basic plans, AWS Trusted Advisor, access to the 7 core Trusted Advisor checks and guidance to provision resources following AWS best practices, so as to increase performance and improve security. And the last point, we have the AWS Personal Health Dashboard that is still under the basic plan. And this one says a personalized view of the health of AWS services and alerts when your resources are impacted.
Okay, so for the basic support plan, what you should remember is the fact that this basic support plan is free. You have 24/7 access to AWS customer services and the communities. You have access to the documentation, to the white papers, to the support forums, or AWS reposts. You have access to the 7 core trusted advisor checks, and you have an AWS personal health dashboard. So these are the 4 things that you should remember that are under that services that are under the basic plan. So having that in mind, let's look at the developer, the business, the enterprise on RAM, and the enterprise support plan. So knowing fully well that everything that is in the basic support plan is automatically covered in all of this, or is automatically inherited by these support plans. So we should have that in the back of our minds while we are reading what is on this table. So I would like somebody to read across for us so that we can actually see the difference. So what are the recommendations for the developer plan, the business plan, the enterprise on RAM plan, and the enterprise plan? I want somebody, because this is the table, you will have to study this table. So today we are reading it together just to help you to have a flair. We may not be able to grasp everything on it, but it's your responsibility to, when you go home, make sure you study this table. This is not the only page. There are about 4 of them. Because you will have at least 5 exam questions from this table alone. So you need to master it, you need to know it, so that when they ask questions, you will be able to identify what they are looking for. So who would like to read for us the recommendation?
Let me read.
Yes, okay.
For developer, it says recommended if you are experimenting or testing in AWS. Business, recommended if you have production workloads in AWS. Enterprise on RAM, it's recommended if you have production and or business critical workloads in AWS. Enterprise is recommended if you have business and or mission critical workloads in AWS.
Thank you. So you will see that they will ask questions and they will play with these words. So you will need to be able to identify which one is referring to enterprise on RAM, which one is referring to enterprise or business, because they can ask you a question to talk about which is the most cost-effective support plan that covers, for example, the production workload. And you see here, you see production, you see production, you see production. Then you look at all of this, which one is cheaper? If this one is 15,000, this one is 5,500, of course, you know you're going to be referring to the business, right? So these are the kind of things you need to, that's why you need to study the table, because they will play with the words and you need to be able to identify which support plan they are referring to. Like, I want to repeat that on this support plan, you will have at least 5 questions in your exams. So I'm already giving you the expo now. So just pay attention. So who is going to read the second one for us? Please, let's be proactive. Not, I'm not going to read it for us. All of us are going to read this table.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Okay, the second one, under developer, service, quota, and basic security checks. And we have the 7 core checks. Business, we have a full set of checks. And under
Let me just
enterprise,
interrupt. Always make sure you mention, because this is very important.
No, okay.
Don't leave this out here, because this is what they are referring to here. So you are talking about the AWS Trusted Advisor best practice checks.
Yeah.
So you have now said that for the developer, you have like the service quota and basic security checks, and it covers the 7 core checks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go.
And under the business, we have the full set of checks. And under enterprise on RAM, we have the full set of checks as well. And under enterprise as well, we have full set of checks.
So if you get a question in the exam, which is asking the one that the check that, I mean, the most cost effective that will cover the full set of the trusted advisor checks. So do you know what that's going to be?
The developer.
Pardon?
Developer.
The full set of checks, not the 7 core checks.
Is it the most costly or the cheapest?
The cheapest.
That's the business.
Yes, because in the developer, you have 7 core checks. They did not, if you have the full checks, you will see it written there. So which means that when you come to, there's going to be a class or a lecture on its own on the AWS Trusted Advisor. So that's why we don't want to go into details. And you just need to know that for the AWS Trusted Advisor checks, the developer, we don't have it on in the business, in the basic one, but here for the developer, you have access to the 7 core checks. And for the business, enterprise on RAM and enterprise, you have the full checks, the full set of checks, okay? So the third one, who is reading for us? Please, let's be proactive, please.
AWS Trusted Advisor Priority.
I think Edmond cannot be the only one reading. I noticed Lawiri wanted to read. Let's let Edmond not be the only one reading. There are more than 20 people here. Yeah.
Yeah, I was already trying to read.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
AWS Trusted Advisor Priority. Under developer, there's nothing. Under business, there's nothing. Under enterprise on RAM, there's nothing. And then under enterprise, we have prioritized recommendations curated by your AWS account team.
Thank you very much. And when there is a blank space here, what do you think it means? I'm asking everybody.
I think the service
they don't have this service.
Yes.
No.
So they are not what they are paying does not cover the AWS Advisor priority. So they don't have it in the basic, they don't have it in the developer, they don't have it in business, they don't have it on enterprise on RAM. So you can have a question that will be asking you about the AWS Trusted Advisor priority. Please don't mistake it for the Trusted Advisor checks. So in this case, you will know that definitely the answer is the enterprise. Okay, so who is going to read the enhanced technical support for us?
On the developers, we have business hours, email access to cloud support associates, unlimited cases, or one primary contact, general guidance. Is it greater than 24 hours, less than 24 hours?
Mhm.
System impaired, less than 12 hours. Under business, we have 24/7 phone, email, and chat access to cloud support engineers, unlimited case or unlimited contacts, I am support in bracket. General guidance, less than 24 hours. System impaired, less than 12 hours. On the enterprise on RAM, we have 24/7 phone, email, and chat access to cloud support engineers, unlimited cases or unlimited contact, I am support in bracket. Prioritize responses on AWS repos, access to AWS support app in Slack. On the enterprise, we also have 24/7 phone, email, and chat access to cloud support engineers, unlimited cases or unlimited contacts, in bracket, I am supported. Prioritize responses on AWS repos, access to AWS support app in Slack.
Okay, thank you very much. So you can see, if you look at this table, you can see that the more you pay, the more services you're getting access to, right? So here you have, you can only contact in the developer, with the developer support plan, you can only contact AWS during the business hours via email to have access to a cloud support associate. So during business hours, email access to cloud support associate. While in the business, you have 24/7, you can contact them by phone, by email, and by chat. 2, you can contact the cloud support engineers. Please take notes. And on this, you can contact them 24/7 by phone, email, chat, access to cloud support engineers. It's the same thing here. But when you come, the next step, you see that here on the developer, you have unlimited cases. So they can create as many cases as possible, but they have only one primary contact. Here they can create unlimited cases, they have unlimited contacts, and they support IAM, right? And the same thing here, they have unlimited cases, unlimited contacts, and they support IAM supported. And it's the same thing here. So for cases where if they say which case, in which plan can you have unlimited cases, it is going to be, the cheapest one is going to be the developer. But if they now mention something like unlimited contacts, it cannot be developer, it's going to be one of this. Then definitely there's going to be another thing that would identify if it's for you either identify either the guidance, the general guidance, or the system impaired to identify if you're referring to the business, the enterprise on RAM, or the enterprise. So you can see here that for general guidance, they have less than 24 hours to respond, which is the same here. For system impaired, if your system is your system is disrupted or impaired, you have less than 12 hours for this for AWS support cloud support associates to respond. And here you have the same general guidance. You have less than 24 hours to get support, and system impaired less than 12 hours. But when you move on to the enterprise on RAM, you see here that prioritize responses on AWS repost. AWS repost is referring to the AWS communities. the online communities, the vibrant online communities. So whenever somebody on the enterprise on RAM raises something there, they will respond. Their own is prioritized. So they also have access to the AWS support app in Slack, so which is also the same as the enterprise. So if you look at both of these, have the same services under the when it comes to enhanced technical support. The enterprise on RAM and the enterprise has almost the same. But if you look, and here you see they have access to a cloud support associate in the developer, and here they have access to a cloud support engineer. So you have to identify these differences, because these are the things that will make your exam questions tricky. But don't be scared. Take your time and study this table, because it's only you. That's the only thing you can do for yourself. You have to master it. There is no way out. There is nothing like I'm not gonna. You have to master this table to be able to go through your questions smoothly. Okay, so who is going to read the case severity and response time?
Please, a first question.
Yes.
Please, can you give a highlight again regarding the repost?
The repost.
Yeah.
It's an AWS, like a AWS community. It's like a vibrant community where they communicate, where you can ask support for the AWS services. You can ask any questions and the community will respond to you.
Okay, thank you.
But I don't know if you want to throw more light on the AWS repost.
No, you're absolutely right there, Lady T. I will just share the link to that community. I think it will give much understanding. You're absolutely right. Yeah. So I think later on, just check the chat team and you'll see that. We are right, Lady T. Yeah.
Okay. So who would like to read the case severity and response time? Please, this is our class.
Case severity response time. Under developer, there's nothing there. And then under business, we have general guidance, less than 24 hours. System impaired, less than 12 hours. Production system impaired, less than 4 hours. Production system down, less than 1 hour. On the enterprise on RAM, we have general guidance, less than 24 hours. We also have system impaired, less than 12 hours. We have production system impaired, less than 4 hours. And we also have production system down, less than 1 hour. And then there is business / critical system down, which is less than 30 minutes. On the enterprise, we have general guidance, less than 24 hours. System impaired, less than 12 hours. Production system impaired, less than 4 hours. Production system down, less than 1 hour. And also we have business or mission critical system down, less than 15 minutes.
Okay, so what I want you to take note here, pay attention, is the fact that when you look at the enterprise on RAM and the enterprise, they are both running the business you have a business critical downtime, which is they are expected to respond in 30 minutes for the production for the enterprise on RAM, and for the enterprise you have business and mission critical response time for 15 minutes. So if you are paying this amount of money, when your system, your critical business, when your system is down, especially for critical workload, your system has to be up in 15 minutes. AWS has 15 minutes to put the system up. So you should take note All the other ones are almost the same. Please, you will need to read it, master it, pay attention. So this, almost everything is the same apart from the business critical system down is for enterprise on RAM is 30 minutes, while the business and mission critical system down for enterprise is 15 minutes. So please pay attention. You reread them. You have to you have to master this table. This is all I can, because like here, when they ask you about a situation where the general guidance is less than 24 hours, the one that is costing you less, automatically it's going to be this. So you have to know the table and then master it. That's all I can ask you to do. So let's go to who is going to cover the next one? Architectural guidance.
Architectural guidance. Under developers, you have general. Under business, you have contextual to your use case. Under enterprise on RAM, we have consultative review and guidance based on your application. Under enterprise, you have consultative review and guidance based on your applications.
Okay, so you can see that for architectural guidance, in the developer, they just give you a general support. In the business, they give you contextual to your use case. And in the enterprise on RAM and enterprise, they give you a consultative review and guidance based on your application. Do you see the difference? Hello?
Yes, the difference is clear.
Okay. Who is going to read the next for us?
Can read it out.
Aws Marketplace management, under developer non-applicable, business AWS support API, enterprise on RAM AWS support API, and enterprise AWS support API.
Okay, so this means that you can have for the programmatic case management, the developers, they don't have access to it, but for the other three services, you have AWS support APIs. So they can ask you which one is the cheapest or which one is the most cost effective, where you have the programmatic case management. So it will be left for you to look at if it is, they don't put any other criteria up there that will deviate you from the business. So you always have to read the question and see if they can ask you a question that would also, the answer will be the enterprise on RAM. When it comes to programmatic case management, they will include something maybe like business critical system downtime. It is equal to 30, less than 30 minutes. So if they add it into the question, of course, you will know that it's not, this is going to be this. So we have to understand this table very much, and because the exam questions will play with the words, and you need to really master the table to be able to find your way through. So who is going to read the next one?
The third part is software support system plan. For the developer, it doesn't have this support. And for the business, we have the interoperability and configuration guidance and troubleshooting. And for the enterprise on RAM, we have the interoperability and configuration guidance and troubleshooting as well. And for the enterprise, we also have the interoperability and configuration guidance and troubleshooting.
So you can see that the more you pay, the more services you get. So when you pay more, you have access to the third-party software support. When you're paying for developer support plan, you don't have it, but the other ones they have interoperability and you can configure guidance and troubleshoot with AWS. So please pay attention on which one you have, which services. Yeah. Who is going to read the next one for us?
Okay. Proactive programs and services. Developer, you have access to support automation workflows with Prefixes AWS support. Under the business, we have access to infrastructure event management for additional fee. Access to support automation workflows with Prefixes, AWS support, and AWS premium support. And under the enterprise on ramp, we have infrastructure events management in bracket 1 per year. The next, access to support automation workflows with Prefixes, AWS support, and AWS premium support. And the last, that is the enterprise, we have infrastructure event management. We have access to proactive reviews, workflow, workshops, and deep dives. Access to support automation workflows with Prefixes, AWS support, and AWS premium support.
You can stop there because this is just a repetition of that. This is just a repetition of this. So let's talk about the deep dives and that's it. Yeah. Okay. So you have to also pay attention to the different services that are offered in this support plan. So when it comes to proactive program and services, you can see that on the business, they have mentioned the fact that you have access to it. This, my screen is, can somebody read it for me? This thing is on top of mine. Okay, access to infrastructure event management for additional fee. So when you talk about infrastructure event management, it's like AWS offering you some kind of architecture and scaling guidelines to help you support your business. Take, for example, companies that are, let's take the Black Friday business. On Black Friday in the US, there's a lot of people going shopping online and buying and all that. So if in this kind of a case, AWS will liaise with the customer to prepare in the background to get a lot of, maybe prepare for the scaling guidelines, so that in case more people, they need more EC2, maybe more people are buying, the website does not crash. So they prepare. This is what it can refer to the infrastructure event management. So they work with their customers to offer architecture and scaling guidelines for operational support during preparations and execution of some kind of planned kind of events. So when we read this, the Black Friday is just something that comes into my mind. So in the business plan, they have this for a fee, but when you move to the enterprise on RAM, they have this service one time per year for free. But if you want it again, then you have to pay for it. Meanwhile, in the enterprise is for free. And also they have access to proactive reviews, workshop, and deep dives. So we have to all pay attention on all of this because they can be very tricky. They can come in the exams and ask you something that has to do with infrastructure event management. Then they can mention something like access to proactive review. So if you don't know that this is only offered by the enterprise, you might be mistaken to choose another service. So this is also a new service that has been added. Who is going to read for us the AWS incident detection and response?
I can read it. It's under enterprise. So developer, business, and enterprise and ramp are all blank. And under enterprise, it says access to AWS incident detection and response for an additional fee. AWS incident detection and response is an add-on to enterprise support that offers 24/7 proactive monitoring and incident management for selected workloads. AWS incident detection and response leverage the proven operational, enhanced monitoring, and incident management capabilities used internally by AWS teams and externally by AWS managed services.
Thank you. So what you should understand, what you should know is once you see on a question and it's mentioned AWS incident detection and response, you should know that it's only one service, one support plan that can offer this, and it's the enterprise. You should not even think twice. So there are some certain things that once you see them outlined in a question, you already know the answer. Take, for example, if you say the AWS incident detection, you should know it's enterprise. If you see mission critical workload for less than 15 minutes, it will be enterprise. If you see mission business critical for more than when you need less than 30 minutes to respond to it, you know that it's enterprise on ramp. If you see the AWS trusted advisor priority in a question, automatically the answer is enterprise. If you see the 7 core checks, that's where you should be doubting between business and developer, and then you look for something that will help you choose which of them will be the answer. Yes, or somebody will asking a question? Somebody saying, asking a question?
Not really, I think.
No, okay. So we're going to move to this. Yeah, who is going to read this for us?
I will.
Yeah, the AWS managed services. Under business, we have access to AWS managed services for an additional fee. AWS managed services augments your existing teams with cloud advanced operation skills and capacity. Includes baseline operations, a designated cloud service delivery manager, cloud architect, and access to the AWS management services security team. Under enterprise on RAM, we have access to AWS managed services for an additional fee as well. The AWS managed services augments your existing teams with cloud advanced operation skills and capacity. It includes baseline operations, a designated cloud service delivery manager, cloud architect, and access to AWS managed service security team. Under enterprise, we have access to AWS managed services for an additional fee too. The AWS managed services augment your existing teams with cloud operations, skills, and capacity. It includes baseline operations, a designated cloud service delivery manager, cloud architect, and access to the AWS managed service security team. AWS incident detection and response is available at no additional charge in eligible regions for AWS managed services. Direct customers with AWS enterprise support.
Thank you very much. So what you need to pay attention is the fact that you have the access to the AWS managed services, and for an additional fee for all of them. You have the designated cloud service delivery manager. You just need to understand what the differences are. And then, in an exam, when it comes, you will be able to know which service falls under which support plan. So let's go ahead and then read just in your spare time. Like I said, today is not enough for you to master all these things, right? It's just for you to understand how you should be to read the table and some of the things that are on this table that you can just easily pick up. So when you go back, sit down and try to imagine which one is under which support plan, and then you should have in the mind that the more you pay, the more services you get. So for the AWS managed services, for developer, you don't have access to it, but for all the other three, you have them for an additional fee. And then they also have like a designated cloud service delivery manager, a cloud architect, and then they have access to the AWS managed service security team. But if you go to the enterprise, you have more services there and they are saying that for them, they have additional incident detection and response is available here for no charge for eligible regions. So it's just for you to pay attention when you're reading questions. Try to, if they mention the AWS managed services, your mind should already basic and developer should be out of the scene. So you are contemplating on these three, and then you look for the next thing that will help you identify which is which. Okay. So, okay, let's move on to the next, the technical account management.
Technical account management, the developer does not have this plan. The business does not have this plan as well. The enterprise on RAM has a pool of technical accounts managers to provide proactive guidance and coordinate access to programs and AWS experts. And the enterprise also has designated technical accounts managers to proactively monitor your environment and assist with optimization and coordinate access to programs and AWS experts.
Okay, thank you very much. What you should pay attention here is that when you have technical account manager, you should be looking at only two services. So you look at the enterprise on RAM and you look at the enterprise. But one thing you should understand is that for the enterprise on RAM, you have a pool of technical account managers, a pool of them, right? While for enterprise, you have a designated technical account manager, okay? To proactively monitor your environment and assist with optimization and coordinate access to programs and AWS experts. So please, when you remember TAM, so technical account management, you will see it as they will always put it on this acronym, the TAM. When you see TAM, always think of technical account manager. So you can, when you talk of technical account management, think of enterprise on RAM and think of enterprise, and then try to see which one is a pool of technical account managers or is a designated technical account manager, please. So the next one.
Please, Lady T, just a quick clarification. I think it said different in the notes. For the technical accounts management, I think the pool was for the enterprise and the designated one for the enterprise on RAM, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the pool of technical account management is for the enterprise on RAM, while the designated technical account manager is for the enterprise.
Yeah, I think she's saying that, you're saying that it's different in the notes?
Yes, on the slides. On the
Which slide is that?
Table. I cannot remember the slide.
Ah, okay.
Just hold on 1 minute. I'm gonna just stop sharing for 1 minute. I will
I'll check that.
Let me see. Just 1 second. Let's check this. Works.
But the one you have in the table is the correct one. The one you have on the table is the correct one.
Yeah, I just want to be sure that I'm looking at the AWS. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yeah.
Can you see my screen? This is the
Yes.
AWS page. So I don't
Yeah,
know
it's cool.
which slides
think
are
it's the
you
same
referring to?
information.
I think she meant in your slides that you were presenting earlier on, right? So the slides you were presenting before you arrive at the table.
Is that what you mean?
Yes, Lady T.
Let me
I
see.
think so because I wrote something else down.
Just hold on. Let me. Just 1 minute. Okay, this is my slide. Okay. This is the slide. Enterprise on RAM, a pool of technical and the enterprise.
Okay. I probably heard something else.
Okay. Okay. So on this one, you see, let me see. I didn't even mention it because when I got there, I realized that there was no more space. That's why I said to see more on the main slide. See, but when you come here, enterprise on RAM, you have a pool of technical accounts, account managers. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So for the training, the developers have no support for this. Business has no support for it, and enterprise on RAM no support. And for enterprise, you have access to online self-paced labs. So these are services that when you see them on the question, you know automatically that is enterprise. You don't even need to think twice because it's only this only the enterprise that enterprise support plan that offers this service. So who would want to read for us the account assistance?
Account assistant. The developer does not have this support. Business does not have this support. While the business on RAM has the concierge support team, there are ASW service, there are AWS billing and accounts experts that specialize in working with enterprise accounts. And the enterprise has the concierge support team, which these are AWS billing and accounts experts that specialize in working with enterprise accounts as well.
Okay, so when you talk about account assistance, you know that two support plans give you access to the concierge support team, and this is the enterprise on RAM and the enterprise. So when we go to the pricing, I would you need to go and look at all of this because I so no need to frighten you with percentages and figures. But one thing you should know is that for the basic, it's free. For the developer, it's about $29 plus per month. For business is it's almost $100 greater almost $100 and more per month. For the enterprise on RAM is 5,500 per month, and the enterprise is $15,000 per month. So just have that in the back of your mind, and then you can play. We can go and read all these percentages and see. It will take a little bit of a while. If you go through it, you'll be able to remember some of them. But what is essential here is know which support plan offers which service. So when you think about the self-paced labs, when you think about the concierge support, when you think about the designated technical account manager, when you think about the AWS incident detection and response, and you think about prioritize recommendation curated by your AWS account, you should be looking at the enterprise. So you should know some of these services that are offered only for, so because this, if you know them, then it helps you when you read a question in the exam, you can easily eliminate the ones that are not right. And then it's better you waste time thinking of between two, which one is the right answer. So, so that's the AWS support plan. And then I'm going to move on to the last topic on the billing, pricing, and support, which is the AWS Marketplace. So the Marketplace, it's a digital catalog with thousands of software listings from independent software vendors. So it's a marketplace. That's where you can come and sell and buy software. So it makes it easy for people to go onto the marketplace. You can go and look for what you want. You can try it. You can buy it and then deploy the software that runs on AWS. So, but one thing you need to know is that the products that are sold in the marketplace must meet the AWS data exchange eligibility requirements. So so the customers can quickly go onto the marketplace, pre-configure a software with just a few clicks, and then choose the software solutions in AMI, in SaaS, software as a service, and other formats. So customers can browse and subscribe to data products in the marketplace. And then the billing, whenever you buy something on the marketplace, the billing is handled by AWS, and then the charges will appear in the customer's bill. But you should note that anyone with an AWS account can use the marketplace as a buyer or as a seller. So, or you can use it as both. So you can go there to buy or to sell, or to buy and to sell. So this is, I think that some people, I remember one that somebody asked, if you have a reserve instance, if you reserve instance and you cannot use it again, what can happen? You can come to the marketplace and sell. So this is the end of the class. Today, we have concluded the second part of the billing and pricing. So I don't know if you have any questions before I move to summarize. If no, so what we have done in the past two lessons, we studied and learned the fact that AWS offers a pay-as-you-go approach for pricing its products. We also learned that we had 3 AWS cost drivers, which was compute, storage, and data transfer. And we also had 3 pricing models, which was pay-as-you-go, save when you reserve, and pay less by using more. Then we learned about the free tier, where we can gain free hands-on experience with the AWS platform, products, and services. We learned about the AWS budgets that allows us to set custom budgets to track our cost and usage on AWS. So we also studied about the Cost Explorer, which enables you to visualize, understand, and manage your AWS costs and usage over time. And it can help you to identify trends, pinpoint cost drivers, and also can forecast usage for up to 3 months. We also learned the AWS Calculator, which is used to explore AWS services and create estimated costs for our costs and usage cases on AWS. We also talked about the Tco Calculator, which is the free tool that allows us to estimate cost and savings when we are moving, when we want to move from the traditional IT into the cloud. So it tells you what you will gain or what you will profit or the cost savings for using cloud computing over on-premise data centers. So we also talked about the cost and usage report, which contains a comprehensive set of AWS cost and usage data available with AWS services, pricing, and reservations. We talked about the cost allocation tax, which are used to track AWS cost on a detailed level. So AWS uses it to organize resource cost on the cost allocation report, making it easier to categorize and track AWS costs. So we also talked about the AWS organization, which is used for consolidated billing and payment for multiple AWS accounts. So today we have looked at the AWS support plan, where we have the basic, developer, business, enterprise on RAM, and the enterprise. We also touch a little bit on the Trusted Advisor, which is an online tool that analyzes your environment and provides best recommendations in 5 categories: cost optimization, security, fault tolerance, performance, and service limit. This you will handle in a different topic. And then we looked at the marketplace, which is a digital catalog with thousands of software listings from independent software vendors. And then AWS makes it easy for us to go there to find, to buy, to test, and deploy our softwares that run on AWS. So we've come to the end of the lesson. I don't know if you have any questions, or should we move to the questions and answers to see if you can remember something. One thing you should keep in mind is you're not expected to master that table after this class. No, you need to study the table. You need to look at it across, take a service. What does the developer, what does the basic offer? What does the developer offer? What does the business offer? What is the enterprise on RAM offers? And what does the enterprise plan offers? So you have to take a service and cut across to make sure that you understand what you get from each of the support plans. Do we have a question? Any questions? If not, let's move to the question, to the revision questions.
Ladies, I will just comment that to help in mastering that table, we'll share the PDF file that addresses just that table. It's about 4 pages, and they can go ahead and print that and just always have that as a quick place to check, right? So maybe while sitting on the bus, you can look at it. So just a heads up there, it will be included with the material that will be shared.
Thank you, Bang. I was going to say that at the end of the class. Make sure you hold it in your bag when you are in the bus, in the train, when during your break time, make sure you look at it.